finally, Caroline, we can all just breathe a collective sigh. Oh, the Chiefs are back. I don't know. Like, I feel like we all walked into a Sunday night matchup expecting a slaughter. The Chiefs get a win, their first win of the season, and now we can overreact to the Chiefs finally getting off the schneid. We left them for dead. They're not dead yet. Kansas City gets a big win, my friend. And all I keep thinking about is, yep, it takes just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's like letting a gremlin have water after midnight. It's just a little of it, and all of a sudden, boom, the beast is back.
Are they? Are the Chiefs back? Are the Chiefs back after an absolute clunker of a first half against the crummy crappy Giants? Are they back? Now look, what they did do was avoid disaster. And disaster would have been falling to 0-3 after falling to the New York Giants on primetime television. Like, that would have been absolute disaster. But they didn't. They won. They kind of got that monkey off of their back. They got the first win of the season. And in the second half, it did kind of feel like maybe there was just a little bit of that magic fairy Chiefs pixie dust. It did start to feel like maybe we were starting to see the Kansas City Chiefs turn over a new leaf and start to find some explosiveness offensively. After that Mahomes fumble recovery, I thought, okay, that is some Chiefs magic stuff. When Patrick Mahomes threw a backwards pass for some reason, they fumbled it and he just knocked it out of the defender's hands. Like, that was some Chiefs magic. And then we saw the first drive out of halftime, 11 plays, 74 yards. Patrick Mahomes got Juju Smith-Schuster involved, got Isaiah Pacheco involved, got Broussard Smith involved, got Travis Kelce involved, got Tyquan Thornton involved. 6 different receivers, 6 different players touched the ball on that drive. And the drive that really put the game on ice, the Chiefs were up 7 in the fourth quarter. They were facing a 3rd and 10 at the Giants' 34. And Patrick Mahomes hit Tyquan Thornton for a 33-yard pickup. I mean, like, that was the kind of Chiefs explosiveness, Chiefs late game magic that maybe we got accustomed to seeing. Now, it was against the Giants, and the Giants are not a very good football team. But we saw some pieces that were maybe reminiscent of the Chiefs that we know and that we love. Maybe,
I think
perhaps.
it's the some pieces part of it, because you're right. Look, we could write this headline in a couple of different ways. We could write this headline as, Chiefs get a big win, or we could write this headline as Chiefs survive. And I don't think either of them is actually inaccurate, because let's be real. The Giants were without most of the game, a fully effective kicking game that caused them to miss an extra point. They weren't comfortable kicking field goals. When Graham Gano did kick a field goal in the second half, it was painful to watch him try and just work his way off the field afterwards, right? So, just the Giants were a bit of a shell with that. And this game, while the final score is 22-9, was a one-score game throughout the majority of it. We could look at it certainly and say, man, what a turd of a game. I would say this, Caroline, though. Thornton, to me, was key in the second half. And this was one good half from the Chiefs. But seeing Tyquan Thornton sort of get unlocked a little bit there comes back to the thing that I've been saying for 2 weeks now, that when they get Xavier Worthy back and when they get Rashee Rice back, this offense has layers to it that it simply doesn't have today. So as I looked at this late last night, I was thinking, man, if this is who Thornton turns out to be, and all of a sudden you stack onto that, I'm going to give a lot of benefit of the doubt here, but when you're the Chiefs, you've earned it. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that Xavier Worthy manages to get healthy and stay healthy, and then the benefit of the doubt that Rashee Rice comes in the football shape we think he's going to be, even though he's facing a 6-game suspension right now, serving a 6-game suspension. When he comes back in, boom, he's suddenly all gas, no brakes. And if that's the case, you've suddenly added 2 new elements to it, and you've taken Thornton, who's getting this second half opportunity to really shine, and you're putting him in as your third corner or your third wide receiver. Now all of a sudden I'm looking around saying, there's elements to this. Like, this looks a little different. This is the thing we're going to do, though. If we're being honest, as a whole, we're all sitting here, and just the general sports community is sitting here waiting for a reason to say, yep, Chiefs are fine. Chiefs are fine, because for the most part over the last several years, they've been fine. So really, last night, they were fine, and they won a football game. But does that mean that they are fine moving forward? I think there is some element. Look, they are still not in the same class as the Bills. They are still not in the same class as the Ravens. And let's be clear, the Chiefs today are not in the same class as the Los Angeles Chargers. Change that. The Chiefs right now are not competing for the AFC West. They're competing for a playoff spot. And when they get to the playoff spot, we'll overblow the nobody wants to face the Chiefs in the playoffs. That's who Kansas City is trying to be this year. I just think if that's the goal, if the goal is, all right, can we see it start to click? We saw some of that last night. And if you're a Chiefs fan, you breathe a little sigh of relief. I don't know you have a ton of joy, but at least you get the win.
I totally see a reality where in January we're talking about, the Chiefs getting a wild card spot and whatever team that they have to play in the first round of the playoffs is like seriously, like we won our division or we got to, whatever point in the playoffs and what we get rewarded with is Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Like I do think that is a reality that we could be talking about at some point, in some form or fashion. But this Chiefs team does not look like the Chiefs teams that we have seen over the past couple of years. And yes, Rashee Rice is going to come back. And yes, we're going to get Xavier Worthy back and maybe adding those two on top of the emergence of Tyquan Thornton that we saw last night. Like when you have three legitimate explosive pass catchers, totally, this offense could be reimagined, especially when you have Andy Reid at the helm. Then yes, 100% that there is a world that I see this Chiefs offense being a problem on top of a Chiefs defense that can be a problem as long as Chris Jones is wearing a Kansas City Chiefs uniform. But Travis Kelce does not look like Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce looks old. Like Father Time is catching up to Travis Kelce, and so much of the Chiefs magic that we have seen in the past is because of that Patrick Mahomes Travis Kelce connection.
Can I be a prisoner of the moment, my friend, for just a minute? Just let me be a prisoner of the first 3 weeks.
Please.
The Kansas City Chiefs are Biff. Like for anybody that remembers Back to the Future, Biff was the bully, right? And then at the end of the movie, you come back and Biff is suddenly like old and washing the car and looks like that. That's the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been a bully for the last few years. Right now, the Chiefs feel more like when you go back to your high school reunion and you see the bully again, and you're like, how you feeling now, buddy? Like, right now, what we know is inevitable. If the Chiefs make the playoffs, what everybody's going to say is you don't want to play this Chiefs team. Oh, you don't want to take them on. And yeah, you do. Why? Because this isn't the Kansas City Chiefs of last year or 3 years ago or 4 years ago. You're right. The Chiefs right now look old. And the Chiefs right now, they struggle to win a game against a team that they should be much, much better than. They get the win. And I'm the last person in all of media that I think wants to leave the Chiefs left for dead. I continue to say I think they will make the playoffs. I think they're two different conversations. Will they make the playoffs? Yeah, they're the Chiefs. Is anybody really scared of this version of the Chiefs? No. Like, this is a little bit like facing George Foreman when he's 40. He might get a good hit, but he ain't George Foreman anymore. And that's what the Chiefs this year, right now, 3 weeks, the Chiefs feel like they're the old, bloated, I'm over the hill, fat version of what they used to be.
It's kind of how I feel about Alabama. After Alabama lost to Florida State, myself as an LSU fan was like, ha ha, suckers, you're not the team you used to be. I still don't want to play you though. I still don't want to be on the other end of receiving an Alabama wrath or a Kansas City Chiefs wrath. Like they still have that. It is still Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. And you bring up that bad team that they should have beaten in the Giants. There are layers to that I do want to get into. But before we move on to the Giant side of things, we just saw a still of Travis Kelce and Andy Reid going at it on the sidelines. We saw that in the Super Bowl. This is not the first time that we have seen those two in a screaming match with each other on the sidelines. And Andy Reid talked in the postgame and said, we want our guys to be fiery. We want our players to have that kind of passion. And I know that's the way that Andy Reid is going to be approaching all of this. What's our concern level with that? With Travis Kelce and Andy Reid, not the first time going at it. Are we concerned about that?
We're never concerned about that when it results in wins. I think the problem is like it's the Belichick all over again. For years, it was Belichick could be a crotchety old man and nobody cared because he won Super Bowl. So if he wants to be condescending and a jerk to the people that are around him, and if he wants to treat everybody that walks in that building a certain way, he can do it because he's Belichick. Until all of a sudden he can't do it because he's Belichick. Like there is some element of the Chiefs in the past have had the one thing that lets any sort of issue on the sideline go away. They win a bunch of football games. Winning cures everything. And certainly guys get heated on sidelines. Certain coaches and players have that sort of relationship. I'm not concerned about it. But look, at the same time, we're not concerned about A.J. Brown reading a book as long as A.J. Brown starts to get his targets and they start to win football games. Like, there's a fine line. We hold the Chiefs to a different standard because they've won so many damn football games. Like, they win. So I get it. And this is that moment where we presume everything's going to be just fine because it's always just fine. But, like, what if it isn't? And I know, they pulled the standings up right now. 1 and 2. I mean, 1-2 is just less than we expected for Kansas City, and it's not a pretty 1-2. Like right now, I don't know that the Kansas City Chiefs are actually any better than the Denver Broncos are. I don't know that, and that's a weird statement. They are better than the Raiders, but they're not better than those other two. What about the other side of this matchup? Because the Giants did get a win here, and we have buried the Giants didn't get a win here. The Giants lost here. We started with the winner, but we have buried some good from the Giants because the Giants defense played really well throughout portions of this game. It's just Russ was just bad. Like, what are we doing? When is it time, Caroline Fenton, to just start the dart? Because to me, I want to be clear. Our producer, Michael Farr, big Browns fan. Every time we have a meeting, he says, let's get Dylan Gabriel. Let's get Shador. Let's change the offense. And my answer to that is always, why? Like, we don't know what's going on in practice. Maybe the guys just don't see what they need to see in practice. Okay, that's been my argument. I listened to a Sunday night broadcast last night that for 3 hours told me how excited the building is for Jackson Dart, how you can't contain the joy. They're giddy inside the halls for who Jackson Dart is going to be. And then I watched the quarterback go out there and make stupid mistakes that a quarterback at his tenure, at his status, should simply not be making against the Chiefs. And I'm wondering, like, the hell was it going to take? Like, that version of Russell Wilson, like, Jackson Dart could have given you that offense. Put him in.
I saw Russell Wilson throw the ball away on 4th down. Like, what? You don't do that. You're a veteran quarterback. That is something that a rookie quarterback does. That is like what a college quarterback does in his first year as a starter. Like, that's not what 255-year NFL veterans do. And that's how long Russell Wilson has been in the league. That I am with you, that I have always taken, maybe 256. I've always taken the approach of slow cook the young quarterback, that it is much better to sit the young quarterback on the bench for too long than throwing him out there too early. But I watched that Giants team last night, and I watched that Giants team against the Cowboys in week 2. And my takeaway from both of those games is this team might be a competent quarterback away from being a playoff team. I mean, look at the young dudes that they have on that team. Cam Scatterbo, I am so glad that the NFL world has finally discovered Cam Scatterbo, because anybody that watched him at Arizona State last year would know that he is an absolute freaking dude. Cam Scatterbo had 120 total yards last night, 60 on the ground, 60 through the air. That's the kind of guy that he is. Then you add on Malik Nabers on top of that, who Russell Wilson tried to get murdered in the end zone last night. Abdul Carter is a dude defensively. Brian Burns defensively. Like, there are so many really talented young players that this team can continue to build around, but they can't continue to build around it when you've got Russell Wilson making all these kinds of mistakes that he's making, when he's turning the ball over at the clip that he's making, when he's not hitting receivers that he should as a veteran quarterback. So I'm kind of becoming team #start the dart, because it can only reignite and add energy into this team.
You can't tell me for 3 hours that the building loves him and can't wait for him, and then tell me that he's not ready. It just doesn't make sense. At least Cleveland's being quiet about the development of their quarterbacks. All right, let's get to another big AFC West matchup, though, that had huge ramifications to the Chiefs and everybody else. The Chargers eke out a 23-20 win over the Broncos. That was a weird game. I mean, the Broncos were up by a touchdown with 2.5 minutes to go. The Chargers score the tying touchdown, get the ball back, and then get the winning kick as time expires. The Chargers, this is the biggest difference, though, to me, Caroline. And I think it was Mark Schlereth that may have said this yesterday. The Chargers are no longer charging. Like, maybe the most powerful thing that Harbaugh has done has instilled the ability to win close games. And that's real. The margins this year are so slim for some of these teams. For the Chargers to be sitting at 3-0 with all 3 wins coming in the AFC West, and then to win this game against a team where it looked like for much of it was just an ugly football game, but they found a way to win at the end. Good teams find a way to win. Bad teams find a way to lose. Oversimplification, but there's some truth to it. So now the Chargers sitting at 3-0 for the first time since 2002. They are clearly the class of the AFC West. There is no doubt about it. And they are trying to push their way into that same tier as the Ravens and the Bills. And man, the way Harbaugh is coaching this team and the way that Herbert is playing right now, it is electric, it is elite, and it absolutely has everybody else spinning on their heads.
The Chargers are in the class of the Bills and the Ravens because Justin Herbert has been playing like he's in the class of Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Because whatever clutch gene it feels like Patrick Mahomes and this Kansas City Chiefs offense lost, The Chargers have it now, and Justin Herbert has it now. And there's been that one clip that I think has been going viral for a very good reason. His flashiest play of the game. And the only play that I would have needed to see to say, yep, that guy's different, and that Justin Herbert is a different version than maybe the previous iterations that we have seen. Fourth quarter, Chargers are down 7, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. It is 2nd and 6. Justin Herbert is facing pressure on both sides. He steps up, and both of those defenders just crash into each other because Justin Herbert just so sneakily steps up into the pocket. He scrambles left. Nick Bonito is right in his face, so Justin Herbert wraps his arm around Nick Bonito's body and throws the ball that way and hits Keenan Allen so perfectly in the end zone for a touchdown. That kind of play is something that I don't think very many people on this planet, and that kind of throw is something that I don't think a whole lot of players in this league can make. And it was a game-changing play, set them up for the win. The defense got a stop, forced a 3 and out, and they were able to hit a field goal to win it 23-20. Like that kind of magic is not something that we've seen from Justin Herbert or this Chargers team before.
And we've seen an evolution in the way they throw the football. It's something that Matt Harmon on Fantasy Shows has pointed out several times. This is now a throwing football team. Keenan Allen, 3rd in the NFL in wide receivers and catches. He's 10th among wide receivers in receiving yards, and he's 2nd in wide receivers for touchdowns. That's all speaking to how this offense is built. And we thought that this offense was going to be in the view of what Harbaugh typically does, which is ground and pound and make games obnoxious. But you look at the way that this team is being run and this offense is being run, and then you look at that efficiency that you see in the fourth quarter, Justin Herbert is doing absolutely everything. Like, we have been tough, I think, on this show on Justin Herbert, waiting for these moments, waiting for the moment where it clearly becomes that he belongs in these conversations. It becomes apparent that that is the fact. And so far this year, that's been apparent. I mean, we talk about clean football. We talk about staying on schedule. We talk about not making mistakes. Justin Herbert does all of those things while also being aggressive when he needs to be aggressive at the right times in the right ways. And it's why the Chargers aren't just a fluky 3-0. The Chargers are a kick-ass 3-0 right now. And clearly, if anybody is going to be scared of a team in the AFC West, it's not the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not the Broncos defense. It's the Los Angeles Chargers. Welcome to the party, Chargers. You guys look like you're going to be elite this year.